So my name is Ugonna. I'm from Toronto. I'm an artist. I paint, I design, do whatever I can get my hands on, pretty much.
Excellent. And how long have you been doing design art or art and design?
Seriously, since 2016.
Okay.
But pretty much I've been drawing all my life. Since I could hold a pencil.
Okay. I always find that interesting because a question that I like to ask too is anyone else in your family like artistic, but they might not have pursued it to the degree that.
A couple actually. My brothers, like I would see their sketches growing up and I'd kind of copy it really. I had like older cousins who were pretty good too. My uncle as well. I just pretty much soaked it all in. I think I'm the only one who actively is pursuing this, so it's a little challenging, but again, someone has to do it.
You don't want to let that drive, that talent not be seen in the world.
Yeah, because I got this from them and from the environment I was in.
Yeah.
From cartoons and comic books, and
that's crucial that we continue it.
Yeah.
So we're in Toronto now, but originally, I think the last time we met, you were saying that you were born somewhere else.
Yes. So I'm Nigerian. I'm born and raised. I came to Toronto in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm fully Nigerian.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. Okay. You didn't come as a little kid.
No. Pretty much like end of high school.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How was that transition?
It was a little tricky, but not as difficult as I imagined. Because I mean, when you're back home, you're already watching Western media. You're listening to the music. And I went to like 3 high schools back home, so I already knew quite a few people once I got here.
Oh, okay. And they had come to this?
Yeah.
To Canada.
So a lot of people came before. Some I met at the same period, because I went to this international college thing.
Okay.
So quite a few Africans went there too.
Oh,
so,
that's cool. That's cool. So sorry, that was in Toronto? Was it like an internet?
No, that was in Hamilton actually.
No, we're in Hamilton.
Yeah, so in 2012 I moved to Hamilton for school, and it was this international college where people from all over the world came to before actually going to university here. Kind of like
prep?
Pretty much, or like assimilation, if anything.
Act like this. Okay, cool. No, that's interesting. I think now, in the basically 2 years that I've been doing this, you might be like the 10th, maybe 7th Nigerian. So clearly there's something in the water.
There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us.
Because the creativity is just like overflowing, and it's spilling now internationally.
Right.
You know, there's a couple artists who are getting like world acclaim through like the Sotheby's auction that are Nigerian, and it's amazing to see, and it's amazing to see what they're creating it is African. It's not like a pandering in order to get kind of attention.
That's true.
So it's just amazing to see. So, but really, it's also amazing to see that the Nigerians are coming here. So that's just awesome. There's no real question in that.
There's a thing where Nigerians feel the need to leave the country to achieve whatever it is you need to achieve, whether it's for school, for creative. Even if you are big back home, you still need to break into the
Western world, or that validation.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's the way it is.
It's my background's Jamaican, so the Caribbean is the same as well. Like we come here thinking that the opportunities are going to be here, but I notice for art, not as much.
Yep.
And there's so much talent in the city outside of our community, just looking at talent, but the push for the arts is just very minimal.
Yeah.
And it's a bit sad because then artists feel like they have to go to the States, especially within the community.
Yeah.
You feel like the collectors aren't here. They are here. It's just connecting with them is
It's tricky.
it's tricky.
Yeah. And even when there's a push, it's centered around Canadians.
Yeah.
You know, like there's such a label on what it means to be Canadian.
Yeah.
Been here since 2012.
I'm here. I'm probably not going nowhere for now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, so there's a lot of hurdles we still need to go over
Yeah.
when we get here.
That's true.
Before we even get into trying to express ourselves. Like, to just stay here is a battle. So
that's funny you should say that. Someone I was just talking to said, that they don't know how much longer they're gonna stay here. So yeah, wow. So let's take it back a few months. I think I was following you. I seen your work online, but then we got to meet in person during Black History Month, and you were not only presenting work in that show, but you actually curated a show that in the Stack Market. So just talk about how that all came about and that experience of displaying work and curating a show.
Okay, for like displaying, first of all, well, to be honest, both of them came from the same source.
Okay.
So I work with this nonprofit called Collective Society, and the founder, she recently started working at Stacked as well. So she got the opportunity to give me the opportunity to show work and also curate work because they were looking for programming. She knew me and she's like, here. And with the one I showed in was with this curator from Crybaby Gallery, Moni, and it was a really good show, like a lot of good work, and I got to curate mine in a similar fashion. I just brought the homies through pretty much. I tried to focus on people who hadn't shown before as well, to kind of give them the opportunity that I was given as well, just trying to spread that across. It was good. I'm looking forward to doing more of that. I'm always curating my life in a way. Whether it's how my space is, what I'm listening to, the playlists I'm making, you know, I constantly doing it, so it felt good to do that on a scale like that.
But that's another interesting point. Sometimes, as much as we want to push artists, sometimes it seems like it's a lot of the same artists getting the push. So I'm glad that you got that opportunity, and also you saw the need, like, okay, there's some other people out here that could use some spotlight as well, some recognition. So that's crucial. So what do you have like next planning? Anything coming up as far as curating again, or solo shows or anything like that?
Most
that you're allowed to share. If you don't want to share it, we're too early.
I mean, we're a little early, but for the most part, I am planning a solo show for the end of summer. Let's put it that way. It's my third solo show.
Nice.
In Toronto, so it's gonna be great. I feel it. It was supposed to happen in 2020 actually.
Oh wow.
But 2020 happened.
But then 2020.
So here we are.
That's cool. I think a lot of people clearly were affected with COVID. But another thing I noticed with COVID and the visual artists is the visual artists had successful years. I guess because people were home and saw bare walls.
Right.
I'm home.
That's true. Yeah, it made people value their space more because you're forced to spend time there, whether it's furniture or the food you're eating.
Exactly.
The art you're looking at, the entertainment. like music and film that thrived too, because everyone had to do that. And it made people see they were actually essential workers as well, because
it's good. It kept our brains from
rotten.
And I'm sure a little rot also happened.
Facts.
You took in some of the wrong stuff.
Yeah, give and take.
You also mentioned, so it's you're gonna have your third solo show in Toronto. Have you ever thought about traveling and taking, like, a lot of your work, like the pieces behind you, it translates outside of Toronto as well? Have you ever thought about maybe bringing it to New York or Philadelphia or LA, anywhere, America, basically?
Yeah, I mean, again, doing the Western thing. Let's show US the work. I mean, I do plan to do that. US aside, I've shown some of my work back home.
Oh, nice.
This was after showing work here.
Okay.
So me and some buddies of mine went back home.
Oh.
We did a show, and it was a group show. Got a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
And recently, actually, I had this one show in London. I wasn't there physically,
but the piece was. So vicariously, you were living through.
Exactly.
Isn't it? Cool.
So the goal is just to get the work as much eyes as possible, and when I'm able to, I will take my work on tour, like an actual tour.
I see it can speak to a lot of people.
Thank you.
And this is, I don't know if this is acrylic or what the meaning.
Oh, it's actually digital.
That's on, I thought that's what you did most of, but when I'm seeing it now again in person, so these are all digital, and then you put them on on
canvas. So prior to COVID and all of that, I was just painting on canvas with acrylics.
Okay.
I started getting into oils, and I was working retail. I realized I wanted to keep making work on the go. So I got an iPad so I could paint it on the TTC and, exactly. And not have to wait to set up my paint and mix it up and clean the surroundings. So it just helped me make work easier. And more recently, I started making the work on the iPad, and then I printed on canvas to kind of have that same painterly feel. And even in the work, like the brushes I choose to use, I'm trying to evoke the same feelings in traditional paint. So, yeah.
This is, you've succeeded.
Thank you.
You've succeeded.
Thank you.
So I see a lot of female forms and figures in here. So what inspires you to create? Is it people, situations, women? It's always a good one.
I mean, shout out to women.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta celebrate the woman. Sounds cliche, but I'm inspired by everything. Like, I try to be receptive to whatever comes. I like a lot of things, and I feel like from that interest, the inspiration comes, and I'm able to morph it into what I'm doing. So I could get inspiration from nature, from religion, from societal stuff, like all the isms, because I feel like art has a space to either just express or, challenge, and kind of choose where you want to play depending on the piece. And sometimes you're feeling things stronger than others, and you just have to let it out.
Yeah, I think art also has an ability to bring up the tough topic that no one really
wants to talk about. Yeah, that's true.
Here it is. Now you guys discuss it.
Fact.
Like the elephant in the room kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how it's always been when I actually think back, even pre-social media and all of that, because people need to converse. People need to talk about difficult things. As a culture, we need to know what we're doing in the here and now, so we know where we're going and kind of take context from the past. And I think art is a vehicle for all of that, whether it's poetry, film, literature, music, visual art. It just helps put things in a form that's digestible. I don't think a lot of people are willing to sit down and listen to seminars and forums.
No, not everybody.
Not everyone. And I feel like those are very crucial, like long form content, and I hate the word content, but long form information is necessary as well. But I think art is a way that gets people into that type of discourse.
Yeah, it kind of can transition them into that longer information session.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a wider context of what the issue is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's do this. Since there's 4 beautiful pieces behind you, why don't you tell us a little bit about those pieces?
For sure. For Woman, quite literally, but that's the title of this series because it's inspired by Nina Simone's For Women song. So this is part of the exhibition / collection that I'm working on at the moment. It's called In Translation, where I'm pretty much translating other art forms into visual art, mainly songs and poetry. This is For Women. And in the song, she's describing 4 different archetypes of Black women, specifically in the USA. And this is Aunt Sarah, that's Sophronia, that's Sweet Thing, and that's Peaches. And they all represent different backgrounds that the women have had to live through, and different stereotypes that have been placed upon them by society based on their skin color. So because of that, I chose to focus on that but still go past that by making their skin color not traditional.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
because if we can't tell on the video, folks, it kind of has a purple hue.
And the lyrics for each verse is her description of the woman. So that was very helpful for me as the visual artist to put this into pictorial form. And pretty much, I don't want to get into too much detail. Go listen to the song. It's a great song. You can pretty much hear their history in each of the verses and how they're being treated by society. And it goes from the initial stage where the Africans were taken, the second stage where it gets graphic, the third stage where they have to use whatever they've been put through to their advantage. And the fourth stage where it's pretty much revenge. It's like justice and deserved anger for all the previous stages. And it's a little funny that her name is Peaches. Such a cute, lovable name, but she ain't come to play. Peaches wants all the smoke. So it really spoke to me, and I felt the need to. And this was one of the pieces I showed in the Black History Month series, so it felt necessary to speak to those archetypes so we can question them and not praise them, because there are lots of isms within these groups here. There's colorism, there's racism, there's a lot that people need to question and think about on the day-to-day. So that's why I made that.
Wow, amazing.
Thank you.